Hi, this is Erin from Blossy Bee. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to share part 2 of my working with the July Resin Mold Box collection. In part 1, I unboxed the entire collection of 8 moulds and had a lot of fun making the cutest pair of owl figurines and an eagle. Today I'm going to work with 2 more moulds, and as soon as I first laid eyes on them I knew exactly how I wanted them to look. So today I'm going to be focusing on the Apple Cottage keepsake jar and the Crescent Hearth Moon candle holder, and I'm going to do both of them in epoxy resin, and I'm going to try to get a very clear crystally sort of a look, which I hope will be pretty. So this one, the Apple Cottage keepsake jar, is 230 mils. This one is 170 mils. So I'm going to mix up just probably over 400, maybe 420 mils. So I've got a little bit extra as well for another project I'm working on. And I've got a brand new resin that just arrived this morning. The brand is Urban Crafter, and I bought it on the Riot Art and Craft website. And interestingly, that is now owned by Toys R Us, because that's who communicated all my delivery and everything to me. It's a deep pour epoxy resin, and it's a 2-to-1 mix, and non-toxic, no VOCs, no odour, and crystal clear. And the mixing ratio, as I mentioned, is 2-to-1 by volume. You have a working time of 60 minutes. You've got a demold or tack-free time of 18 to 24 hours, full cure time of 4 days, maximum pour depth 50 to 100 millimeters thickness. So I'm very interested to see how this performs. I have not been able to get hold of my regular deep pour resin, which has been causing me a bit of anxiety because I'm just loved it so much. But we'll see. Now, temperature is really important. The optimum environment temperature range is 22 degrees to 23 degrees. And the temperature under 20 degrees will slow the curing process, and curing can stop at 15 degrees Celsius. If you have temperatures above 25 degrees Celsius, that can accelerate curing too much, leading to cracking and shrinking, and also avoid working in high humidity. I'm in the middle of winter in Tasmania. I know for many of you on the other side of the world are struggling with incredibly high temperatures at the moment, so that might be beyond your grasp at the moment. That yeah, I'm here in very cold conditions. There is no way that the ambient temperature in my house will remain at the correct temperatures for this to work. So what I'm doing, I'm working in a heated environment now, and then I'm going to move everything over to the Resiners G3 curing machine, but I'm only going to activate that and turn it on at 25 degrees when the temperature drops down below around about the 22 degrees in my workspace. So that is the plan. I'll get some gloves and start mixing. Okay, I've got one of these lovely measuring cups from Solid Solutions, and so I'm going to be using that, and so I need 1 part of the hardener to 2 parts of the resin. And so because I need just over 400, I think what I'll do, probably try and make it up to 450, as that's a really easy one to work out. So that would mean that I would need 300 of the part A, and then half of that, which is 150 of part B, which will take me up to 450. Okay, so I'll pop in the, oh, I got a very big pack. I bought 6 litres, and this part A is obviously then a 4 litre bottle, so it's good for building the muscles. Okay, so I need to tip out, what did we say, 300. I'm already loving how low viscosity this is. That's what I miss the most about my favourite deep pour resin, is just how runny it is, which for me equates to being able to have a longer working time, to remove bubbles and get into all the nooks and crannies I'd like it to get into. Okay, so now I'm up to part B. I'm going to bring this one up. Pop. To 450. Oh, look at that. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. Beautiful. All right. Perfect. All right, their recommendation is to mix for 6 to 8 minutes slowly. I'm going to use my Astorio resin mixer. Pop that onto there. Pop that in. And then just want to make sure that it's exactly the right height. That should be. All right, and I'll just leave that stirring for 6 to 8 minutes. We've got now this stirred for I think 8 minutes, and it's just so beautifully clear. There are a couple of, well, not a couple, there are dozens of absolutely tiny bubbles, but they are working their way to the surface. And what I'm going to use to colour this is the Pinata alcohol ink in Opal, and I'm going to add just the most tiny amount because I really want to try and get these as clear as possible, but just to have a little bit of interest so that, you know, when it catches the light. So I'll give this a really good shake, and I really don't want to put much in. Move this up to here. Let me have a look. That's 1 drop, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll try 5 drops. And I can't actually see any evidence of that being in there at all, so I'll add another 5. Okay, I'm not going to add any more. Worst case scenario, it's just going to be completely clear. Best case scenario, it's going to have an absolutely slight little sparkle opalescence blend to it. Okay, I'm just going to let this drip off a little bit, and then I can give it a stir. Make sure I get all of the sides and the bottom. All right, put that over here. Looking wonderful. I did initially get this out and then I thought, no, I'll go for the opal, but mother of pearl. Okay, I'm really happy with that. You can just see the tiniest little iridescent pieces. So cool to watch those bubbles release. Okay, I'll be back in 5 minutes, and in the meantime I'll clean up my spatula and my mixer. Okay, while we're still allowing that to degas, let's have a look at these molds. So this one has got a cute little door embellishment and a window. I have no idea how I'm going to finish this off, because I don't love painting on details onto things, but we'll see what's needed. It's got an apple stalk and leaves, a lot of detail in there as well. Obviously this little spot here is going to be somewhere that I'll need to make sure has no bubbles. And then the moon, let's have a look. Lots of detail on the inside there. Not sure if this is going to be a super glossy mould or not, but the fact I'm going to be pouring downwards into here means that this area here could be problematic. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is spray a little bit of alcohol, and I just want to make sure that I get it everywhere. Okay, so that's got a lip under in there as well, which I need to be mindful of. And let's have a feel. This one's got a little indent behind the stair detail. Okay, and this one. All right, I feel pretty confident that I've got most of those. So I'll start pouring, and I'm going to have a look now. It's looking so good. Don't think I needed to stir that, but old habits. Okay, so I'm just going to let this trickle down. Pouring very slowly, gently. Okay, so about halfway there. Oops. That was a grotty thing to do. Now I'm just going to take a little tool and wiggle around there. I'm not seeing any bubbles at all. And I'm just going to go over all of the details on the leaves. Now I'm just squeezing from the bottom and I can't see any bubbles coming out. So I'm hoping that it's good to go. Okay, I'm just going to carry this one over to the Resiners G3. Okay, now see how we go. I'm going to try and pour onto this part. All right, so now I'm just going to reach under and give that triangle sort of piece there a little squeeze. I'm not seeing. Okay, that is looking amazing. And then when I go to work on it on the Resiners G3, I'll just make sure I've got this piece here done. Okay, I'm just going to carry this one over. Okay, so lucky last. Is our little apple base. This resin so far is making me very happy. It is so clear and it is such low viscosity, it's just pouring in like a dream. Okay. Alright, I'm going to carry this one over and then we will move over to my other workspace and top them up. I've moved over to my other workspace and now I've got everything sat onto the Resin's G3 and I've changed it over, flipped it over so it's on the tall setting, and then I will be able to accommodate this larger, taller mould. Okay, so now it's just a matter of filling up each of the moulds. Okay, I'm just going to run round under the lip. Not actually able to see any bubbles there. And this one can come up a little bit higher. Okay, alright, they are looking great, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit the Resin's G3 cover on, but as I mentioned, I'm not going to actually turn it on until the temperature in the working space I'm in drops down low. But I'll show you when I do turn it on. Just push the camera up a little bit. First of all, it goes onto flat, and then I've got it on tall, and then the temperature, I've had it down on 20. You can set to 25 degrees, which is the maximum that this resin recommends. But I'm going to turn it off for now. This is acting as a dust cover. It's going to keep any dust and debris off my makes. And then when I see that the temperature here has dropped, I can turn it on to supplement that curing heat. Okay, let's have a look and see how we went. So a little bit of extra resin I had, I popped into this little pussycat mould. It's sort of a frosted mould, and I think that looks really cute. Time to demould the next piece, so we might go with the moon. And I'm wearing gloves because I don't want to get any finger marks on these, if possible. At least until I've had a look at them. Okay. Very pretty so far. You can see a teeny tiny bit of sparkle through there. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. That is just gorgeous. It looks like, it really does just look like glass. I can't see a single bubble in it. And it's just beautiful. Super happy with that. Okay, let's have a look at the apple, or the lid of the apple. And this one I am not at all confident about because of the possibility of bubbles. It'd be great if I could get it started. Oh, there was some resin around the rim. That was what was holding back. Okay, over that. Yeah, already I can see. Oh, that's such a shame. Oh my goodness. That is just beautiful. So I've got a large hole there and there, and tiny ones there. Oh, what a shame. Let's have a look at the base. Okay, that's just come out absolutely perfect. Not a bubble to be seen. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. That is just so pretty. Have to have a think about those. Okay, I'm really impressed with that. These two moulds are just lovely. They've turned out super pretty. So, the lid of this jar, I went through and I didn't film it unfortunately, but I added in some UV resin to fill in the holes. Not all of the holes, just the ones that had a big chip around the edge. And then I sanded it and I went from, let's think, I think I started off at 80 and I went all the way through to 3000. But, just trying to see if I can show you, I've scratched it. So see here? So I did a bit of research and this product, Auto Sol Metal Polish, was recommended. And I've got a Ryobi cordless drill and this set was recommended. I have got a dedicated little piece of, like an alternative to a Dremel coming, but I'd ordered it from Amazon and then I think a day or two before it was due to come, Amazon sent me a refund and said they weren't able to fulfill the order. So I found one on eBay that said it was going to be here yesterday. It's still not showing on tracking that it's going to be here anytime soon. So I had to come up with an alternative. You can always use these polishing compounds with a microfiber cloth, which I already did, but it didn't really achieve what I wanted. So now I'm going to try this. So I'm just putting a little bit of the paste on and just clean that off my finger. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm very new. And then I've turned my drill onto the lowest setting, and I'm just going to turn it and push it in like that. Okay, I've got a wet one here, a wet wipe. And I think that's definitely helped. I ended up fiddling around with this system probably for an hour or more, and I'm not totally convinced. It did okay where I scratched the surface accidentally, but the actual holes that I would have loved to have worked on, it just was beyond my abilities and the equipment that I was using to get into all of those. So at this stage, I would not recommend this polish or this system. But at the time of doing this voiceover, just before uploading the video, the parcel I mentioned has just arrived. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm hoping that it's going to be a good little piece of equipment, and I'm looking forward to testing it out. So the apple jar, it still looks gorgeous. It looks stunning. I just would have liked to have not had the little micro bubbles and the issues with the rim around the top. But here we go. I'll show you how it looks. So this is definitely a mould I'm looking forward to working with again. I could not bring myself to change one single thing about this, add anything to it, because it just looked so perfect as it was. And the moon, exactly the same. So impressed with how this came out. It's quite a weighty piece, the way the mould's designed with the bottom. Feels quite substantial. And I asked ChatGPT to style both of these for me, and I love what they did, what it did with the moon. So here's the moon shown with a little LED tea light in it, and you know, you can just see how pretty that would be anywhere in your house, really. Just gorgeous. And then for something a little bit different, I asked ChatGPT to come up with a whole range of ideas for the little glass-like apple house pot with lid. And I think these look beautiful. Obviously, because it's clear, whatever's going to be placed inside it, you'll see straight through. And there's often things that we like to place inside containers to show them off. So I thought that was a really lovely little way of seeing what you could use it for. So far, this July box is nothing but beautiful treats and surprises. So the Moonlit Cottage Keepsakes collection is not available to buy. It sold out very quickly, but each of the molds individually are still available, and they come often in 2 packs. So I've popped them on the screen. You can pause this if you want to read how you will receive them. And it's exciting to think that I've got still more to go with this. So if you would like to purchase any of these yourself, feel free to use the code on the screen. It will give you a discount, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.